Hey, what's up everybody, Ollie here. Wanted to make a quick video just to kind of give you a little bit of an update on the Witch build. Heading towards the end of Act 3 at the moment. And I just wanted to give an update of what I've done with my build, as well as what you can do with the build from my last video, how you can evolve it, what you can do with it, what are your options, as well as talking through some of the tips and tricks if you see your progress slow down. So for me, I actually went into Blood Mage, and I'm now basically, I started off with the minions coming up to Lord of Horrors, and minions are very much still the basis for my damage and build at the moment. However, I am now branching into additional chaos damage, a little bit of survivability. I'll talk through this in more detail, and we're going to basically follow this into here. We're then going to take this up to this point. We're going to come down into this chaos damage we have here, as well as our critical spell damage. So the idea is here, we're also going to come across here and take this chaos damage as well. So we're really going to build into chaos damage, hex blast. So that is the plan. I'll show you my gear, because it's important that when you start getting into Act 3, towards the end of it, that you start paying attention to some of the items you're getting. So one of them is the Charm Practitioner. So if you don't get one of these dropped for you, then you probably need one, because it's about stops you getting poisoned. Then with the Viper Mitts, then I've just basically put fire resistant runes in, because a lot of the bosses I have troubles with seem to have fire damage. The other ones aren't really a problem. Obviously, I do have some resistance for cold and lightning as well, but fire is my leading one. I've just killed the boss in Act 3 that gives you a little bit of 10% fire resistance for free as well. It's important to keep upgrading your flasks as well. I've got a really good setup at the moment where when I pop a life flask, it takes away my mana, but I tend to always have mana flasks. I am running into a few mana problems now, but with the next few items I get to increase the max mana, and as we start to come across here, there's some more mana regen nodes we can take if it really becomes a limiting factor as we head into dealing more damage. So what have I changed from the last build? Well, that is, when you look at the passive tree in the last build, we were basically looking at this area and going into here. I haven't changed anything up here at the moment. The plan is for me, because I'm a Blood Mage, to slowly come out of Lord of Horrors, out of minion damage, and then into more crit spell damage and chaos damage. But at the moment, and also mana recovery. At the moment, though, I'm still using minions, like I say, to do a lot of damage, and I'll show you my skills that I'm using. I've unspec'd this one just because I needed to get into some more chaos damage, but also these nodes are very valuable here. I'm finding I'm needing a lot of strength and intellect because I'm running a shield as well. I'll need the strength to basically put that on. Shields are really good if you want to not run minions. If you still want to run skeletal minions for poison gas, which is like just so good, while you have the minion damage nodes, if you want to use a shield instead of the skeletal summons, that can help you a lot as well. But for me, the biggest kind of changes to the build is I got 20% movement speed boots, which are just a must-have. I've added fire resistance to those, and then the same with the gloves. Added a bit of fire resistance onto those, and then we've got a bit from the body armor here, a bit from the helmet. On the wand, I managed to get +2 to all chaos spells, so it's kind of influenced the way I'm going with my build. I've also got a ring that does all elemental resistances, which is super good. And I'll be keeping this on until I get a better one. Necklace is mediocre. I'm kind of looking for a better one, and the hat is just basically give me a bit of energy shield. The chest is actually was a really big upgrade. Basically, before this I was just running very high resistances, but the energy shield performs a lot better than the resistances. So getting that energy shield has really helped me. So that's the gear really. So just focusing on actually getting energy shield, getting the any max life as well. Has been really handy, as well as I've just put a little bit more love into the resistances in this act, and I'm just still going through nicely. I'll put some gameplay of me killing the bosses. I think what will really increase the damage of this will be when we get more chaos damage. because everything now is basically scaling off of that. I'm still using Raging Spirits, and I will be changing away from this soon. But at the moment, it's just like a good, effective use of my spirit from running the scepter. I'm still using the skeletal warriors to tank for me when I'm not using the shield. So you're basically, your choice is either have the skeletal warriors tank for you, or have a raised shield. And you have enough spirit to run at least one skeletal sniper if you want to use gas grenade and flame wall. I'm not really using Chaos Bolt for anything. I am actually finding that I'm preferring to use Essence Drain because of the dot that it applies. It just really is increasing the damage. If you find you're having mana problems and you rather have like Chaos Bolt for spamming, then do that. But I plan on moving away from that soon and just using like Despair, Dark Effigy, and Hex Blast. So I'm very close to getting the Hex Blast, not far to go. So I'm just basically getting used to that rotation. The rotation is putting Essence Drain on, putting Contagion on, and putting an Effigy down somewhere. The Effigy will basically ping out a bunch of withers. You want to apply a Despair as well, and then you want to basically just blow them all up. And to blow them all up, I'm using the Skeletal Sniper Flame Wall. Otherwise, it will be the Dark Effigy that burns them down, and then there'll be a big chain reaction, and they'll all just blow up one by one. So it's really good. You can also keep Unearth. I've kept Unearth just every now and then. If all my minions die, I just throw an Unearth in just so they can tank it and do a bit of damage, finish off any enemies that might need to be finished off to trigger the Contagion Despair combo. The most important thing here is having Withering Touch on your Dark Effigy. This is really important because it basically, well, you can see what it does. Supports any skill that hits enemies, giving it a chance to wither them, so that wither them and deal more damage over time. And then also with the Despair then, so this curse applies after a 1 second delay, so you put it on the ground after 1 second. It's kind of annoying to hit, you need to do a little bit of practice, but once you get it down, Heightened Curse and Impending Doom will just absolutely, this Impending Doom will just blow people to pieces, and the increased effect is just important to have on, because it just increases the damage from the curse. So this is actually going to do a lot of your damage, basically execute everything, as well as tick them down over time. And then you've also got Contagion to spread to enemies outside of the ring, as well as I'm using the Skeletal Sniper Flame Wall combo to just cause big Poison Cloud explosions. I've also got the Enrage command for the Skeletal Reavers slotted, because I found that they're quite good damage, and I thought I had a spare skill gem and I have a lot of spirit, so I've just got 3 Skeletal Reavers. But you might want to run 2 I might try running 2 Skeletal Snipers, 2 Skeletal Reavers for a bit, just so I can have, I feel like 2 is a nice amount for Gas Arrow, because you don't need 3 activations of Enrage, but you do need 2 activations of Gas Arrow really. By the time I've used 2 and they've died and come back up, I usually have enough to do more. But that's it really. That's a little bit of an update of where we've gone with the build. Where we're planning on going is getting the next Ascendancies, and then going into Sanguimancy, going into Life Leech, going into Vitality Siphon. So adding some survivability here, and then we should, I think we get to, I don't know if we get 4 on the next one or not. So then after the next Ascendancy, after that, I'm going to go into Blood Barbs as well. I will have a look at basically going into the spell crit damage, or the Crimson Power. But at the moment, I think I'm going to go into these nodes here in the center, and perhaps do Open Sores. Try out Open Sores a little bit, because Infinite Duration does sound very good for bossing. But I'm basically going to try out these different things, and I'll release an updated video when I get there. If people are following along with my build or a similar build, you'll also see I'll come out of this as well, remove the reduced physical damage. I might even come out of no, I'll keep that. I might even come out of this at some point as well. So remove this node and remove this increased physical damage node. What I will do is basically I'm going more into spell crit, spell damage, and chaos damage, as well as obviously a bit of survivability and maximum shield. I'm still debating whether I take these. I might give them a retry at some point. I'll let you know, because it depends. This is like ultimate survivability here, so a bit of this. Definitely going to take this spell damage here, and definitely going to take this chaos damage here. So that's where I'm going for now. Might also look into area effects for curses as well, just to increase that contagion spread. And that's where we're at, really. I'll probably come in here as well and grab some of this. We don't need any of the overexposures, but we might take some other parts of this tree. But that's where we're at the moment. So you'll see I'll come out of this tree first. I think I actually am going to keep this Restless Dead for as long as I can. There's a lot of value in this skill, whereas the other ones are just damage related. I'll come out of Flame Raging Skull, get rid of this soon, in favour of another passive. I think I'm probably going to go with Withered Presence or something similar. Let's open up the gem board. I have got a gem ready to go, but I'm just not doing it yet. So we're either going to go on cast on critical, just for an extra bit of DPS. I know that this at the moment is not doing too well, so I'm thinking about just going for blasphemy, because you can get a little bit of extra survival with this, and that's where I'm at, really. Or Grim Feast. I mean, I've already got Grim Feast unlocked, so I'm going to try this. I could try out this a little bit, just to increase, in the meantime, increase the rate at which I'm respawning my minions, and also just gaining energy shield back, which is just useful. There's a few other options on things we can go for with the gems, but I think we are mainly looking at cast on critical or blasphemy. Withering Presence you can get with a lower level gem, so everyone can try that out. At the moment, like I say, I'm just running Raging Spirits, and I'm not planning on really upgrading these any further. So that's where we're at. In terms of skill gems for next unlocks, really want to get Hex Blast. So this detonates curse on an enemy in an area, causing explosions and chaos damage, but removing the curse. So this will just be a way of me triggering and bursting those contagion dots and also my despair dots that are on the enemies, and that will just give me massive damage. That will combo very nicely with open sores, because basically if I apply any curses in a fight, even if I kite away, I can just trigger them, and this also increases the damage. So this might be where I end up going. I'm leaning towards this, and then I kind of like the extra survivability of Vitality Siphon, but if Vitality Siphon isn't a problem, I think we might go into Blood Barbs and just cause bleeds. So curses and bleeds could be really good. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment. Like I said, putting the resistances in Act 3 is like probably one of my biggest sort of tips. And just avoid like don't go too crazy with like trying out 2 different trees at the top here, because it costs a lot to respec. And yeah. Please keep tuning in. Leave any comments if you have any questions. I just wanted to do this video as a follow-up to my last one, in case people have followed along. The main thing that really does increase my survivability is the pure energy. Really recommend this if you're kind of struggling. And then also looking at your gear and making sure your gear has a bit of resistance to whatever enemies you're fighting, as well as energy shield. Like those increased energy shields are literally just making me feel like a tank. As well as the this one's still level 7. I need to upgrade this item level 23, but it has allies in your presence still 50% increased damage, which is just really good. Like just can't roll that at that level on anything else at the moment. It's borderline now whether switching to my other scepter. I've got another scepter here, level 10, with increased crit chance is worth it, but I haven't needed to yet. And that's it really. So that's where we're at. I'm going to put some gameplay in, fight some bosses, things like that. And then if there's any questions, please reach out, and I will basically do another video update and probably do a written guide at some point with my playthrough information. But thank you for tuning in, and peace out.